KTM is all set to unveil the next generation 390 Adventure, first at EICMA, followed by in India. The motorcycle has been spied on multiple occasions, revealing quite a few details about the bike. But besides that, we have got our hands on a lot of details about the motorcycles, what all variants it will be available in, the suspension travel, the wheels, and a lot of other details which we are going to talk about in this video. And towards the end of it, we will also try to tell you how much all of these variants or the variants which will come to India will be priced at. So stick with us till the end. But before we move ahead, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Almost every aspect of the motorcycle looks new, including its design. Now, if you look closely at the spy shots and compare them with the KTM Dakar Rally motorcycles, you'll see that a lot of inspiration has been taken from KTM's Dakar Rally motorcycles. So, dimension-wise, the new 390 Adventure looks bigger, especially from the side profile. It looks taller, and we think it will look as big as the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, which for its displacement and class looks like a very big motorcycle. It could be the same case with the 390 Adventure, but interestingly, if you look at it from the front, it looks quite a slim motorcycle, which would actually help it make a very easy to manage motorcycle in off-road conditions. So it gets a tall windscreen, much taller than the existing iteration. The side fairings are completely different, and even the tail section looks much longer, which should help the touring enthusiast accommodate more luggage on the seat and have a pillion. And even two large size individuals should be able to accommodate or fit on the motorcycle really well. Now let's move on to the hardware package of this motorcycle. Now, as we have observed in the spy shots and brochure, there will be two variants of the motorcycle. One will be the R, which will be the more off-road centric, a higher spec variant, and then there will be X, which will be a more road biased, lower spec variant. Now the R will have a 21-inch front wheel and perhaps an 18-inch rear wheel. That's what we have observed in the leaked images. And this will have spoke wheels, which should make it more like off-road friendly motorcycle as compared to the X, which will have a smaller 19-inch front and a 17-inch rear wheel, and both of these will be alloy wheels. There will be a difference in their suspension travel as well. Now, R being a more off-road centric motorcycle will have longer travel. As per the leaked document, it will be 230 mm, whereas the X will have 200 mm of suspension travel. Now, the difference in suspension travel and wheels at the front and rear will also cause the seat height to be different. Now, the R will sit much higher than the X at 885 mm, whereas the X will be somewhere close to 825 mm, which should make the 825 or the X variant friendlier motorcycle for shorter riders, whereas the R will be more friendly for taller riders, but that is subjective. It all depends on how KTM designs the dimension, or to be particular, the midsection of the motorcycle, which makes all the difference in terms of how comfortably you can place your feet on the ground. Besides that, the chassis also looks different from the existing version of the 390 Adventure. It looks almost identical to the new 390 Duke, which is still a split trellis frame, but the design and the construction, the structure looks different. So that should make the handling a little different from the existing model. And even the braking hardware, if you notice, the disc brake has been moved from the right side to the left side, and even the way it has been designed or the overall setup looks slightly different. So we are expecting the braking or the stopping power to be more in the next generation 390 Adventure. So if you bring them all together, we are expecting the next generation 390 Adventure to handle, to brake, and to ride in terms of ride quality as well to be very different from the existing model. Now, talking about the engine of the motorcycle, the new generation 390 Adventure will be powered by the same motor as the new 390 Duke. Now, this is a new 399cc engine which has a different way of delivering power. It has a much flatter torque curve, and as against the existing model, which has its power concentrated towards the top end of the rev band, this has a more linear torque delivery, which should give you a good punch in not just the top end, but also in the mid-range and in the low end, which should make the motorcycle much easier to ride overall. Now, it remains to be seen whether KTM does any changes to this engine to suit the character and personality of the 390 Adventure as compared to the 390 Duke, because we expect the gearing to be different because there's a difference in wheel sizes, but how much, whether the difference will be drastic and whether KTM will change the tuning or fueling of the engine to make it more low end friendly, that remains to be seen, and it will be really interesting to see how this motorcycle performs in the real world. Now, typical of KTM motorcycles, the 390 Adventure, the next gen model, we are expecting it to be loaded with tech to the brim, and that's what has been suggested by the spy shots and the leaked brochure. But there will be difference in the amount of features that will be available in the R trim and the X variant. Now, R being the top end model, it will have IMU based features like cornering ABS and cornering traction control, similar to the existing 390 Duke. It will also have a different instrumentation setup. It will have a newer, a fancier TFT screen, maybe with different layouts and Bluetooth connectivity, obviously. And there will be more information offer. But the best part is that it will have cruise control, which is not there in the existing 390 Adventure, neither in the 390 Duke. So that should make it a much better or more comfortable touring motorcycle. So you can just turn on the cruise control and cruise at a certain speed, given the road conditions. As for the Adventure X, it will have a LCD screen and maybe less information on display, and it might miss out on cruise control as well. A bidirectional quick shifter should be standard on the R variant. Whether it will be standard on the X or not, that remains to be seen. And both the variants will have dual channel ABS with switchable functionality, and both of them will have full LED lighting and a USB charging port as well. Now, the KTM's 390cc portfolio will have two more motorcycles, which will go by the name 390 Enduro R and the 390 SMC R. Now, the reason we are talking about these bikes towards the end of the video is because we think that these two motorcycles won't be launched in India with the 390 Adventure R and X. This might come at a later stage, although we don't see a reason why they should come later, because KTM will be manufacturing both of them here in India itself. But maybe KTM wants to wait for the market to warm up to the new 390 Adventure R and X, and they might see the response. They might first want to create a hype around the product and then launch the Enduro R and the SMC R. Now, as the name suggests, the Enduro R will have a 21-inch and 18-inch spoke wheel combination with longer travel suspension as compared to the SMC R, which is a typical supermoto with 17-inch alloy wheels at the front and back, along with road bias tires, which is what supermotos are. They are less versatile motorcycles as compared to adventures and enduros. They are more road focused with some capability to do hard pack dirt riding and doing some jumps and doing some slides. Whereas the enduro will be a more road focused motorcycle. And as we can see from the overall bodywork, these motorcycles should be much lighter than the 390 Adventure R and X, because there is more minimal body panels around the fuel tank area and at the front section. So people who will be very concentrated towards doing more of off-roading, the 390 Enduro R should be more suitable for them, whereas people who want something distinctive, they might prefer the 390 SMC R. Now, what do you guys think, whether KTM should launch both these bikes with the 390 Adventure, or they should launch them at a later stage, and whether you would be willing to buy these instead of the Adventure trims? Let us know in the comment section. Now, coming to the main question, which a lot of you have been waiting for: how much will these motorcycles be priced at? Now, ideally, looking at all the improvements and changes that the company will do to these motorcycles, there should be a price hike. But we have known KTM for a long time. They are notorious to give us a little shocker at times, because the 250 Duke was the new generation model was launched at the same price as the previous gen, and even the new 390 Duke, despite being a vastly improved motorcycle, was demanded just 13,000 more than the previous model. So the 390 Adventure X might be launched at 2.85 lakh, which is the price of the existing 390 Adventure X, and the 390 Adventure R, if we get lucky, it might be priced at 3.60 lakh, which is the same price as the existing 390 Adventure spoke wheel top end variant. Now, the 390 Enduro R and the SMC R, whenever they come, they should sit somewhere between these two motorcycles. Now, do you think these prices are realistic? Whether KTM will launch these motorcycles at these prices, or will there be a significant price hike considering that the chassis, the engine, the bodywork, there is more electronics. Will KTM be a little greedy, or will they give us a shocker? Do let us know in the comment section. We hope you like this video. Do share this with your friends, family, and with whoever you can. I'm Anuj, signing off for now.